He cheated. He went back and reviewed the video. I'm tired. That was a lot to do. Woo! This sounds ridiculous. Welcome back on another episode on Proven Power Cycles. For those of you who don't know me, I'm Eric. We got Daryl and Lewis back in the background. Hello. Today we have a 2024 GSX-R750. So the goal today is we're getting ready to baseline this bike. And now for those of you who have seen some of my older videos, you kind of know my process. So we're gonna baseline the bike completely stock as it sits. It's got stock chain and sprocket, it's got stock exhaust, stock air filter, everything on it is stock. So what we're gonna do today is, the biggie that we're gonna do today really is the exhaust. This is primarily what we're getting rid of, which is this, the catalytic converter, okay? So the headers, here's the collector for the headers, and then it goes straight into the cat. And then from the cat, we actually go straight out to the muffler after that. But these cats are really, really large. So this is something that is really restrictive. It is better, obviously, for the environment. But again, you know, we're in it to make more power. You know, technically, this is all supposed to be for off-road use only. There's our little disclaimer. Anything after this is out of our control. But for the most part, this is what we're doing here today. We have a few other little mods, nothing crazy, but the biggie is going to be the full exhaust. We did go with a full M4 system. We will show you guys later on in the video what it is. But right now, let's start this bad boy up. Let's do some baseline runs. Let's see what this thing's gonna baseline at. All right guys, so we got done with the baselines and it almost made 117, or it made right at 117. It was like 116.96 wheel horsepower. But anyway, we'll go over the numbers at the end of the video. Right now, we are in the middle of taking her all apart. So we are on the ground today because both lifts are taken by our turbo builds, and that's gonna be a while. So going back to it, right now, what they are doing is they're taking out the air box. We are doing an air filter. We have the block off plates and then the full exhaust system. So that's what's gonna be done on this bike. So far, the boys have gotten the full stock exhaust system off. This right here, this is the notorious exhaust servo, which is a motor that is a butterfly rather, that is connected to the exhaust. Basically, it opens and closes depending on the RPMs that you're at. They say it's for low end torque and whatnot, but quite honestly, I think it's more towards emissions. And here's old Stalker, and this thing is pretty stout. We've weighed this in the past on our old videos. Now, I don't remember the number offhand, but I mean, dude, this feels every bit of like 18. Yeah, I was about to say 18. All right, now that we're doing guesses, let's do it. 17 or 18?
17 and a half.
17 and a half. So we got 14.6. I'm at 16 flat. Here we go. Oh shit, Lewis. 14.4 pounds. He cheated. He went back and reviewed the video.
Yeah, see, what had happened was...
Oh, wait a minute.
As you guys were talking, I read the directions.
But we don't have the muffler.
Yeah, the muffler. Well, you didn't say the muffler, you said the header. You hold it.
Look, I'm trying to throw everything. Hold on, let's get some brackets. See if we can get it to balance.
Oh.
The 19 point, damn, almost 20.
Hold on.
Almost 20 pounds. This is all for you guys out there, all you viewers.
Oh, wow, the cables are touching over here.
20, all right, basically almost 21 pounds. All right, guys, so we got everything installed. I will say this, M4 is usually like on the money. This exhaust was pretty tough to install, I'm not gonna lie. Now, I will say this, guys, for those of you who don't know, M4 is handmade here in the US. Okay, so basically what they do is they take a jig and they weld up all their header pipes basically on a jig or on maybe a couple different jigs, but all in all they weld them all up on jig or jigs, and then this is obviously made separate. You can kind of see the different material used and all that jazz. What we ended up fighting is cylinder number 3 and 2 were really tough. They have a little crossover pipe here. So they have this little crossover right here, and that little guy makes the install pretty tough. And I'm not gonna lie, the clearances on this one were extremely tight, and they were just a smidge off, as you can kind of see here. You see how they're like, there's just these tiny little gap in between the primary and the collector. And don't get me wrong, they definitely account for like some of these little, see, even right here. This one was the worst one, which was cylinder number 2. So we fought the good fight. We tried to do exactly as they listed it, but let me tell you, it was a little bit harder than what it usually was. So after a rigorous about 3.5 hours or so, we have finally gotten this thing all together. We had to keep playing with everything just to get it all to fit without hitting the oil pan, getting this to line up. So I'm not gonna lie, it was definitely a fight, and considering that we don't have it on the lift like we normally do, it's been a little bit more of a fight. But all in all, it looks great. We're gonna fire it up and see what it sounds like real quick. Hey guys, we're at the midpoint of the video. If you could, please give us a like and a follow real quick. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already. Leave a comment down below. Tell us what you think it's gonna make on the dyno. If you could, tell us what you think about the M4 exhaust. What's your favorite exhaust system for the GSX-R750 platform? Let us know down below. Tell us what you think. All right, let's get back to it. Sounds good, nice and deep. And now remember guys, this does not have a tune on it yet. It still is on a base map, well, the stock map I should say. I'm gonna go back in there. The bike is done. Told you I'd get you a shot of it all dressed up. So we got it all dressed, and we also wiped it down real quick. We usually wipe down every bike, kind of do a little quick detail, if you will. So anyway, this is how she looks dressed. Let's look at the exhaust. Woo-wee! Look at that, peeking through, looking sexy. Not bad at all. Man, I love the M4 touch. I ain't gonna lie, this one was a little bit of a pain. Maybe the intern was welding this time from M4, but either way, killer setup. I love it, I'm digging it. I like that they've extended the muffler a little bit longer than the other ones. They're older models. Well, it looks at least, maybe because it's sitting on the outside now instead of tucked underneath. They used to do the Street Slayer. That was a very popular one, and it was a shorty underneath. And now they're doing this, this Tech 1 is kind of taking off, and I'm not gonna lie, I like it. I like the shape of the canister. It's got a cool little, I don't even know what kind of shape, almost like a diamond, but it's pretty sharp looking. So we finally got the GSX-R750 done, and I'm tired. That was a lot to do. But let's go over the final numbers. I know you guys are always interested in seeing the final numbers, so let's see the final numbers. So when he came in, he was making 100, we'll round up. That's close enough. We'll give it to him. He made 117 wheel with 51 foot-pounds of torque. And as you can see here, these bikes actually do have a restriction at top end, just like the older models do. So do these. So as you can see, when we get around the 12.2 mark, 12.3, 12.5 actually. So about 12,500 RPM, we kind of peak out, and then it drops off after that. So 116, almost 117 at 12.5. And then right as we get up to redline, we're actually making only 110 horsepower. So it drops 6 horsepower from 12.3 to 14 We can even say 14.3. So about 2,000 RPM, you're dropping 6 horsepower. We have a little bit of a lag down low down here. Notice how it kind of like changes trajectory. That's usually a little bit of a lag. And we also have a torque loss right here in the mid-range. So all in all, I'm sure this bike rode like, didn't ride great, didn't ride too shitty, but notice now when we installed the M4 pipe, we made a lot more horsepower up at the higher RPM. We picked up almost 8 wheel horsepower, about 7.5 horsepower at top end, which is actually very impressive considering that all we did was slap the exhaust and air filter in. We also did the pair delete on it. But notice down low, look at what happened down low. It falls on its face. This is at 4,500 RPM. Look at this. It falls on its face and then it shoots off after that. So even though top end picked up power with installing the exhaust, it still lost a ton of horsepower down low because now it's running so much more air through the system. Look at this. We are off the charts with our AFR. Look, it literally goes off the charts, hence why we drop so much in torque and horsepower. And then it comes back, starts to come back, and then up around 7,000 RPM and on, it pretty much picks up power, a little bit of power, but it picks up power from then on. Not bad, but we have also a very lean AFR mixture, which I definitely assume that to be true. Here is the final. Notice we not only did we regain what it was stock, but we also picked up a substantial, here, let's do that so we can actually see it. Let's get this out of the way. So notice here, we actually picked up, now I know it's kind of hard to read because all the numbers are kind of smashed in together here, but from stock, we went from 31 horsepower to basically 39 horsepower. So we picked up a solid 8 horsepower, 7.5 horsepower at this low RPM, which that's gonna give us about a 17, 18% rate of change at this point, which is substantial for a low end RPM gain. Now again, that was versus stock. If you compare it with after the if you compare it with after installing the M4 exhaust and the air filter and all that jazz, we actually went from 25 horsepower to almost 39. So that is a 14 wheel horsepower gain. That's massive, massive, massive. Now you're talking about 25, 27% rate of change, which is gonna be monumental. So huge gain. And then let's go up here to the top end, and we went from 114 to 120 to 132. So we had massive, massive jumps in this high-end RPM power gain here, along with the torque. Picked up a solid 7 foot-pounds of torque. Picked up, let's see, that's 16, 17, 18 wheel horsepower. So yeah, that's pretty massive. 18 wheel horsepower gains, not bad. AFR looks great. We do have a little blip here, but this is kind of in no man's land that I can't really touch. So we just have this little blip in the AFR here, but the rest of it is pretty streamlined. So we nailed it. Everything looks killer. Power band looks killer. Everything looks solid. They're gonna be super happy. Final numbers, we went from 117 wheel to 121 to 132. I would say that's not too shabby for a 1 day in and out. That's a pretty big gain for a quick in and out job here. So, and basically 56 foot-pounds of torque was our final, 52 with the M4 and everything installed, and 51 stock. So pretty good gains there as well, guys. Overall, super happy with this. I really hope you guys are enjoying these videos. It is a lot of hard work, especially the busier and busier that we're getting, the harder and harder it is to video these things for you guys. So I really hope you guys are appreciating this. If you could, please leave us some feedback. Comment down below, tell us what you think of the video. Tell us what you think about the bike. I think it's pretty sharp. It does look like an older model to me, like a 2015, 2014 range with the blue and the white still, but overall, Suzuki, I don't know. I love the 750 platform. It's one of my favorite street bike platforms, just the way the power band is, the balance of the bike, the weight of the bike, etc. But anyway, guys, give us a like, give us a follow. subscribe, please. Comment down below. Do all the things. We appreciate you guys. We'll see you on another episode.